have left last time. We have covered the part 1 of the chapter My Childhood. So we were learning this chapter. I was reading and explaining you the chapter My Childhood. I have already introduced you with the chapter that this story is about our honorable former late Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam's life. Late Dr. APJ Kalam. Okay. And I have asked you one question about the chapter, that what is the full name of APJ Abdul Kalam, and sir's name everyone I think knows, and I will ask you again this question in my Google Meet. So this story, My Childhood, is taken from the novel, not the novel, the autobiography of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, late Dr. Abdul Kalam, and the book that this story has been taken from, that the name of that book is Wings of Fire. Wings of Fire is a very prominent autobiography of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He has himself told the story, and his secretary has penned down everything and done everything. So this chapter, My Childhood, is part of the autobiography of Mr. Kalam, The Wings of Fire. Why it is known as The Wings of Fire? Because as it is known as, it is already known that Abdul Kalam, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, is not only our country's former president, but he is a renowned scientist. He is a very popular scientist, Indian scientist, and he has been popular because he made few missiles. He was famous for his nuclear technology, his nuclear knowledge, and he gave a lot of missiles like Agni, Prithvi, and so on. So, Wings of Fire, from that missile Agni, it has taken the name from there. So, he is popular about his science and technology, and he has led our country. He was the former president of India. Okay, so this story is about Mr. Kalam. I have already introduced in the previous video. This part of the autobiography, Wings of Fire, My Childhood, this chapter is there, and we have covered the childhood, okay, only the childhood of APJ Abdul Kalam sir. So by far we have seen what was the background of Mr. Kalam, how he was born and brought up. His father Jainalabdin, his mother Ashiamma, both were very decent people, and we have seen what traits Abdul Kalam has taken from his parents. From his father he has got his honesty, and from his mother he has got the kindness. So these things he has got. His father is a fisherman, a boat owner, and Mr. Kalam is a very secular kind of a person. He goes to mandir also, he visits masjid also, being a Muslim. He wears a topi, a cap, and he goes to mandir for the feast. And so the locality of Rameshwaram is famous for the temple of Rameshwaram. And Mr. Kalam is very much into the place. He goes to the temple, and he has many friends. One of his friend is the son of the priest of this temple. So we have seen that Mr. Kalam was a very visionary person, and in the chapter we will only cover his childhood, but you must be aware of such great personality who inspires us and who has led our country. So this is it. We are going to learn more. We have seen that till his friends, who were his friends. Now we will see one more great incident in his life that happened during his school times, which shaped his thought and so on. We will see that what happened during his school days. So stick to my video. I am Aman from DPS Salwani Namajod. You are watching video classes. Let's see what was Mr. Kalam as a child.
Okay, so let's start reading of our chapter. The first half I have already covered in the previous video. I have read and explained the first half of the chapter, and in the introduction part I have already discussed that whatever we have read and what we are going to do. And so let's now begin our reading of the chapter. I will read the paragraphs and explain it on the same time, and so that you must understand whatever is going on in the story. I've already given you the description about Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam in the previous video. Now we shall continue our chapter. So let's start. One day when I was in the 5th standard at the Rameshwaram Elementary School. What is elementary school? The grades from 1st to 5th, okay, elementary stage, the beginning stage. The 6 to 8 is junior and 9 to 12 is senior secondary. Sorry, 9, 10th are considered to be high school and then intermediate. So it is altogether considered as senior secondary. So he was in the elementary school, that means below 5th grade. So one day when he was in the 5th standard at the Rameshwaram Elementary School, the name of the school is Rameshwaram Elementary School. A new teacher came to our class. So Abdul Kalam explained in his biography, in his autobiography, he has said that one day when I was in 5th and I was in the Rameshwaram Elementary School, a new teacher has come to our class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim. You must have seen the Muslims, they wear the topis, the caps, white round caps. So same way Kalam was wearing a cap. And I always sat in the front row next to Ramananda Shastri. Okay, so he's saying that I used to wear a cap and one new teacher has come to Rameshwaram Elementary School and he used to sit with Ramanand Shastri, who wore what? Ramanand Shastri, being a major follower of Hinduism, he used to wear a sacred thread, the Janeu we call in Hindi. The new teacher could not stomach means could not tolerate. The new teacher could not tolerate a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. So the new teacher was against it that a Hindu is sitting with a Muslim. This is called communalism. Okay, communalism. So being communal means you divide people in communities. So that is spreading of communalism. And other thing is secularism. When you are not following any sect, when you are secular, when you don't feel that one person belongs to this community or this sect. Okay, so the teacher was a big kind of a communalist, and he was not happy with Muslim sitting with a Hindu. So with Kalam wearing a topi, wearing a cap, he was sitting with a boy, Ramanand Shastri, who was wearing a thread, holy thread, sacred thread. In accordance with a social ranking, as the new teacher saw it, I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. So the new teacher set new precedent that Kalam must sit at the last in the back bench. I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. I felt very sad. So Kalam says that he felt very sad that he was forced to sit in the last bench, and so did Ramanand Shastri. So Ramanand Shastri was also feeling a little bit unhappy that he was being separated from his friend, and he looked utterly downcast. Downcast means very much sad or to the verge of being depressed. And as I shifted in my seat in the last row, so Ramanand Shastri, he began crying. He started weeping. So the image of our weeping Ramanand Shastri is still with Abdul Kalam. I shifted to the last row, and he was weeping. Ramanand Shastri was weeping. So he has that image still on his mind. Who? Kalam. After the school, we went home and told our respective parents about the incident. Lakshmana Shastri summoned the teacher. Okay, Lakshmana Shastri was the holy priest of the temple. So he called the teacher, he summoned the teacher, and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality. So Lakshmana Shastri, he called the teacher, and in front of the kids he told him that you must not be communal, you must not spread this poison amongst the teachers, in the mind of the innocent teachers. He bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island Rameshwaram. So the priest, the father of Ramana Shastri, Lakshmana Shastri, he politely asked the teacher that you must either leave the island and school, or you must apologize to the kids right there. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Shastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. So the teacher was new, he was a young teacher, and this what do we say, conviction, conviction is called drid nischay. Okay, that decisiveness in his voice, in his decision, in his judgment impressed the young teacher, and he changed his ideology, he changed his thoughts that I also must not be communal, I also must not differentiate amongst the kids, amongst any individual. So he had regret about what he has done, and at the same time he was changed. He changed very drastically. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid. Rigid means they were very stubborn of the rules, they were not very flexible, they were very rigid in terms of the segregation of different social groups, the casteism, the cultural differentiation, the social differentiation, the rules for the different religions were there. They were very rigid about it, the society of Rameshwaram. However, my science teacher Shiv Subramanya Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife. What is conservative? जिनकी थोड़ी सी the thinking is a little bit conserved. They are not open to all. They are not very much into people. They are having a conserved mindset, that the old orthodox thinking. So he appreciates that his science teacher, even though he was a very orthodox Brahmin, he was a Brahmin, and orthodox means very old fashioned person, but he had a conservative wife also, but still he was a very, what do we say, a very open minded person. He did his best to break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds, from different backgrounds, could mingle easily. So the science teacher, even though he was an orthodox Brahmin and he had a very conservative wife, he was open to all, and he tried to break the barriers that were there in the society of Rameshwaram. He used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. So he always used to motivate his student, his pupil, Abdul Kalam. The science teacher used to motivate him. See, this is a very good quality of a teacher. This is a quality of a good teacher rather, that he not only transpires the education, he not only transfers the education, the knowledge in his students, but he also tries to motivate them. He tries to energize them. He tries to shape their thinking, shape their thought process, shape their life. So a good teacher is not only a good educator. He is not only a good he is not a knowledgeable person only, but he is a motivator. He must motivate the students. In a way, he should shape their lives. So the science teacher was always into it, and he used to say that I want to develop you so that you can be on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. Rameshwaram being a small island town, so the teacher wanted Kalam to compete with the people, with the students of big cities, the mega cities. So this was a very good quality he found in his science teacher. That is why Abdul Kalam, Dr. Abdul Kalam, late Dr. Abdul Kalam, was a very good teacher himself. And it is a fact, you must know, that when Mr. Kalam died, he was in I think Shillong, if I am not wrong. I think it was Shillong or Imphal, whatever it was, the IIM Institute or the IIT, I am forgetting that, you may correct me. So he was there delivering a lecture to the students. That time he collapsed on the stage. He had, I think, a heart attack and he died there. But see, at that age also he was giving lecture to the students. He was surrounded by the young and ignited minds. So this was a thing about Abdul Kalam, that he always liked to be amongst the young ones, the educated ones, the people who were energized to become something in life. So he had this quality with him. So one day, Kalam says that one day my science teacher, he invited me to his home for a meal. You must remember that he had a very conservative wife. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine means to eat, in her ritually pure kitchen. So Mr. Kalam was invited by his science teacher for lunch, for meal, and the wife was very much disheartened, very much sad, and she was horrified. She was scared by the idea of Muslim entering the kitchen, as in the olden times and right now also in some of the families, people sit together in kitchen and eat. Earlier we used to have very big kitchens. Now it has been reduced. The size of kitchen is reduced. We have other things in our houses, but earlier we used to have a big kitchen, and there only our mothers or grandmothers used to cook, and we used to sit there and eat. So same way, the wife of his science teacher, Kalam's science teacher, was horrified that how can I allow a Muslim to enter my kitchen? Okay. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. So she said, no, I will not serve you in my kitchen. Shiv Subramanya Iyer was not perturbed. Perturbed means he was not affected by it, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hands. So what Shiv Subramanya did, the science teacher did, he was not affected by the behavior of his wife, and he simply, what he did, he served Kalam with his own hands and sat down beside him to eat his meal. So he also not ate in the kitchen, and he ate with Kalam and served meal to him with his own hands. His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. Like you must have seen the South Indians, they eat in a banana leaf or something like that, and so Kalam was eating the meal. He says that I don't know what was different in my behavior, that Mrs. Iyer was observing, that whether I was eating rice in any different fashion, or whether I was drinking my water in any different way, or whether I was cleaning the place afterwards I finished my meal. When I was leaving his house, Subramanya Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. So Subramanya Iyer again invited Kalam for the dinner next weekend. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset. Okay, so he observed, Subramanya Iyer, that Kalam is being hesitant because of the reaction of Mr. Iyer's wife. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. Okay, so Iyer said that when you want to change everything, you have to face these things. You will have to face the people who will be from your background only, from within you only. The people will come as a hurdle in front of you. So you have to overcome all of that. When I visited his house next week, Subramanya Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. So see what a drastic change has come. Earlier, Ayer's wife was not allowing Kalam to enter the kitchen, and she was horrified by the idea of it. Now she was giving Kalam meal from her own hands in the kitchen itself. So the change happened because she observed. Kalam thought she was observing how he eat rice or how he drinks water, but Mrs. Ayer was thinking that my husband is right. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. So, after this incident, the Second World War was over, and India's victory was India's struggle for independence. It was obvious that India will get her freedom. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. So Gandhiji, after the Second World War, said Indians will bring their own, build their own country, their own India. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. What is optimism? I have already discussed being pessimist and optimist in one of my Google Meet, so that you can see in the net yourself. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. So, after the Second World War, Gandhiji declared that India will get her freedom and Indians will build their own country. And the whole country was very optimistic that new change will come, we will rule ourselves, and so. So, Kalam also asked his father that he should leave Rameshwaram, as there is no such chances here for education in Rameshwaram. He was asking his father that let him go to the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. Okay. So the father replied to Kalam. He told me as if thinking aloud, Abul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun? Alone and without a nest. A bird also flies alone to the heights of the sky. One day the bird also has to leave the nest, the comfort of her nest, her family members, the friends, and the bird has to fly alone. So same way, Abul, I know you have to go and grow. You have to go away to shape your life. He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. So the father, Abdul Kalam's father, Jainul Abidin, tried to console Kalam's mother by saying that your children are not your children. He quote from the Khalil Gibran, one of the, I think, verse from the Holy Quran. Okay, he quoted that your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. So your children is not your children. They have to serve the purpose of life. They have to have the hardship of life themselves. They have to go through all that we have gone through. So they come through you but not from you. They have come through you but not from you. They have been sent by God for a greater purpose. So they must seek their own journey. You may give them your love but not your thoughts. So Kalam's father consoled his wife that you may give your kids love but not your thoughts. They must have their own thoughts and they must lead their lives themselves. For they have their own thoughts. The kids, they have their own way of thinking, they have their own way of living their lives. So you must not come in the way of living their life themselves. So APJ Abdul Kalam, an extract from Wings of Fire. So this story is by APJ Abdul Kalam himself. This is an extract, a part of the novel, the autobiography from APJ Abdul Kalam, which name is Wings of Fire. So this chapter's name in that book is My Childhood, and we have covered this chapter. This chapter now here concludes. I hope that you have understood, and I hope you have been inspired by life of Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I highly recommend you to go through the autobiography. If you by chance get any that digital version, the PDF, or if you may get your hands on the book itself through Amazon or Flipkart, whatever you can get it from. So you must read this book.
So the chapter is finally over, and I hope you have enjoyed the story, and I hope that you have learned something from the life of Honorable Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He is a very inspiring personality, and I hope that you have understood everything about his childhood, and I hope that you will do your work also. So we have seen in the story that how Mr. Kalam was as a child and how his life was shaped from his childhood only. He learned many a few things from his parents. For example, he got his honesty from his father, he got the kindness from his mother, he learned to be secular, he learned to be the thought of unity in diversity. He took this thought forward and spread it all over India. So he learned it from his friends. One of his friends was from a Hindu priest family. He himself was a Muslim. So he learned everything in his childhood. And these incidents shape your life. My life also has been shaped from the incident of my childhood. You must be experiencing few things that will later will be very handy in your future. You will think about the incident that has happened in your past, and you will shape your life on the basis of those experiences. So I hope that you have enjoyed the chapter My Childhood, and I hope that you have understood it, and we will meet again soon. And I must recommend you to read the book Wings of Fire. Two autobiographies are very good. One is Wings of Fire, which you already know is about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Second book that I can recommend you, that it is a must read, is My Experiments with Truth. My Experiments with Truth. So in the next session of Google Meet, I am going to ask you that which autobiography I am talking about. First one you all know that it is of APJ Abdul Kalam sir. Next one is your homework to find out whose autobiography I am talking about, and we shall discuss it in our Google Meet. So you must read books so that your thoughts are more visionary. You have a good approach towards life, towards things, how you see things, how you tackle your situations. All these readings come very handy in your day-to-day life. So I hope you have enjoyed my lecture. I am Aman from DPS Salwani Damachor. You are watching video classes. Thank you so much for watching the lecture.